Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a question. Did you know that something as ordinary as your morning cup of coffee could turn into a silent threat to your health? For many of us, coffee is more than a beverage, it's a ritual, a comfort, even a daily companion. But what if I told you that, especially for seniors, the way we drink coffee could sometimes be as dangerous as the things we try so hard to avoid? Today, we'll uncover 10 fatal mistakes people make when drinking coffee, mistakes so common that many don't even realize they're risking their health each morning. You see, as we age, our bodies become more sensitive to caffeine. Our metabolism slows, our hearts work a little harder, and our digestive systems respond more strongly to what we consume. This means that a coffee habit that once seemed harmless could now interfere with your sleep, weaken your bones, raise your blood pressure, or even disrupt your medications. Coffee has always been more than a beverage. For some, it is the comforting ritual of early mornings, a companion during quiet reflections, or the warm presence that makes a conversation with friends more meaningful. Yet, within this familiar cup lies a complexity that few acknowledge. What seems harmless or even beneficial can, when consumed without awareness, quietly erode the very health we strive to protect. Especially as we grow older, the body responds differently to what we give it, and a drink we once enjoyed without worry can begin to leave traces of harm. It is important to recognize that while coffee carries well-known benefits, moderation is not the only key. Understanding how we consume it becomes just as essential. The human body, at every stage of life, has its own unique relationship with food and drink. In youth, the body forgives more easily, bouncing back from habits that strain its balance, but in later years, every choice carries a greater weight. A wise elder once said, "What you put into your body today is the story your body will tell tomorrow." With coffee, the story can be either of vitality or of hidden burdens, depending on how carefully we approach it. Consider the role of caffeine. Many see it as a source of energy, a way to awaken the mind. But caffeine is more than a spark. It is a stimulant that demands careful attention. For younger people, its effects may pass swiftly. Yet as we age, the body processes caffeine more slowly, allowing it to linger longer in the bloodstream. A single cup in the late afternoon may keep the heart alert and the mind restless deep into the night. And when sleep becomes shallow or broken, the body loses the time it needs for repair, for memory consolidation, and for the gentle work of restoration. There is a story of an elderly man who prided himself on waking early, his cup of coffee always by his side. For years he never questioned the habit, yet, in his 70s he began to notice an unease in his chest at night and mornings filled with weariness. It was only when he delayed his coffee until later in the morning and reduced the strength that he discovered his nights grew calmer and his mornings clearer. He had not realized that what once fueled him was now quietly stealing his rest. Another danger lies in the effect coffee has on the heart. For many seniors, blood pressure becomes a silent concern, something monitored at doctor visits yet often overlooked in daily life. Coffee, rich in caffeine, has the power to temporarily elevate blood pressure and increase heart rate. While a single rise may seem harmless, over time these surges place an added burden on the heart, and the heart, though strong, must be treated with respect. A proverb from the East reminds us, "The heart is not a drum to be beaten without rhythm. It is a temple to be guarded with care." Even the digestive system, often forgotten in these discussions, bears the impact of coffee. When taken on an empty stomach, the acidity of coffee can irritate the lining, leading to discomfort, bloating, or even long-term issues like gastritis. Seniors, whose digestive systems may already be sensitive, are especially vulnerable. A woman once shared how she always rushed to drink her coffee first thing in the morning, believing it gave her energy for the day, but she often complained of a burning sensation afterward. When she began to eat a light breakfast before her coffee, the discomfort eased, and she realized the ritual had needed only a small change to restore her comfort. We must also speak of bones, the very framework that carries us through life. With age, bones lose density, and the risk of fractures rises. Few realize that excessive coffee can interfere with calcium absorption, gradually weakening the structure meant to support us. The harm does not come suddenly but builds quietly over time, like water carving stone. One cannot feel the loss until a stumble or fall reveals the fragility within. Thus, balancing coffee with proper nutrition, hydration, and moderation is not merely a suggestion but a form of self-respect. These truths do not mean coffee must be abandoned. On the contrary, it remains a drink of warmth and connection. But it must be approached with mindfulness. Moderation is not about denying ourselves but about creating harmony between pleasure and health. Too much of anything, however comforting, tilts that balance. A wise teacher once said, "Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most." For seniors, what is wanted most is often health, independence, and the ability to live each day with vitality. Coffee, enjoyed with awareness, can be part of that journey rather than an obstacle. Another layer to consider is the way coffee interacts with the medications many seniors rely upon. Certain medicines for the heart, bones, or blood pressure may be less effective or even harmful when mixed with caffeine. These interactions are often unnoticed, hidden behind the normalcy of daily habits. The cup of coffee that feels so small in the hand can cast a shadow much larger when combined with treatments meant to sustain life. This is why awareness, rather than blind repetition, becomes the true key to well-being. Ultimately, the question is not whether coffee is good or bad, but how it is embraced. Drinking without thought can bring unseen dangers. Drinking with care can make it a companion rather than an adversary. Seniors who adjust their habits, choosing the right time of day, pairing coffee with food, moderating strength, and ensuring balance, discover that they do not have to surrender the comfort of coffee to safeguard their health. Instead, they transform it into a practice of mindfulness, a daily ritual that nurtures both spirit and body. A thoughtful sip, a moment of pause, a recognition of the body's changing needs. These small acts weave together into a tapestry of health. In the end, coffee is not merely a drink. It is a choice, a daily decision, and a reflection of how deeply we value the body that carries us through the later chapters of life. When we consider the simple act of drinking coffee, it may seem impossible to believe that small details such as the time of day, what we eat with it, or how often we refill the cup can shape our health so profoundly. Yet it is often the smallest habits that carry the greatest impact over time. A single choice, repeated daily, becomes a thread in the fabric of our lives, either strengthening or weakening the whole. One of the most overlooked mistakes with coffee is drinking it too late in the day. For some, the habit of enjoying an evening cup feels comforting, even indulgent. Yet the body, especially as it grows older, no longer processes caffeine with the same speed it once did. What lingers in the blood is not just the flavor of the drink, but its invisible energy, subtle, restless, and lasting long after the final sip. There was once an elderly woman who enjoyed her coffee after dinner, believing it helped her digest the meal. She could not understand why she would toss and turn at night, her mind alert though her body begged for rest. When she was gently advised to shift her coffee earlier in the day, she was surprised to find her nights grow more peaceful, her mornings less heavy. It was not a lack of sleep she suffered from, but a lack of deep, restorative sleep, quietly stolen by caffeine's lingering presence. Sleep, after all, is not simply the absence of waking. It is the workshop of the body, where cells renew, memories settle, and the heart and mind find calm. To disturb this process is to rob oneself of one of the greatest gifts of health. A saying from an old teacher reminds us, the night is not a place to fight battles, but to gather strength for the day to come. To guard one's sleep, then, is not a luxury but a necessity, especially when age has made every hour of rest more precious. Another mistake, subtle yet dangerous, is the addition of excessive sugar and cream. These additions may sweeten the flavor, but they carry with them burdens that weigh heavily on the body. Sugar, in particular, can quietly raise blood glucose levels, adding strain to a system already working to maintain balance. For seniors, whose risk of diabetes is higher, this is no small concern. What begins as a spoonful of sweetness becomes, over months and years, a tide that erodes vitality. There is a story told of a man in his 60s who could not imagine his coffee without sugar. He believed it made life a little brighter, mornings a little easier, but his doctor warned him that his blood sugar was climbing dangerously. At first, he resisted the advice, but when he finally reduced his sugar little by little, replacing it with the natural flavor of the bean, he was surprised to discover that he no longer missed it. He often remarked afterward that the taste of life itself seemed clearer when not hidden behind so much sweetness. Balance is not about denial, but about awareness. Coffee with a small touch of milk or a natural sweetener can still be enjoyed. The danger lies in excess and in the unthinking repetition of habits we never question. As one wise saying goes, chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Recognizing the weight of sugar and cream in our daily cup allows us to decide whether that weight serves us or holds us back. Hydration is another silent companion often neglected. Coffee, though liquid, is a mild diuretic, gently drawing water out of the body. Seniors, already more prone to dehydration, may not realize how easily this leads to fatigue, dizziness, or confusion. The solution is not to give up coffee, but to remember that each cup should be balanced with water. A reminder that what the body loses must be restored. There is an old story of travelers crossing a desert, each with a flask of water and a bag of coffee beans. Those who drank the coffee without replacing their water soon found themselves weaker, while those who alternated between the two continued with strength. The lesson is clear. Energy is not only borrowed from a stimulant, but sustained by the simple gift of pure water. Beyond hydration lies another hidden layer, the interaction of coffee with medications. For many seniors, daily medicines are a lifeline, carefully measured and prescribed to maintain stability. Yet caffeine can interfere with how certain medicines are absorbed or metabolized. Some blood pressure medications may lose their effect, while others may react with caffeine to create unexpected strain on the heart. A few pause to consider that the harmless-seeming cup in the morning might be altering the very medicine meant to protect them. A thoughtful elder once compared the body to a finely tuned instrument. He said, "When you add one sound, you must listen to how it changes the harmony." Coffee is that sound. Sometimes it adds warmth, other times it disrupts the melody. To drink it wisely is to listen carefully to the body's music and adjust. When the notes grow strained. The beauty of awareness is that it does not demand perfection. It invites mindfulness. To drink coffee with care is not to strip away its pleasures, but to savor them more deeply, knowing they do not come at the cost of health. One may choose a smaller cup, an earlier hour, a lighter roast, or a gentler preparation. These small changes become acts of respect for the body, acknowledging that it deserves to be supported rather than tested. Every cup of coffee then is an opportunity to pause, to reflect on the body's needs, and to act in alignment with the desire for long life and vitality. It is not the coffee itself that harms, but the habits surrounding it, the sugar added without thought, the late-night indulgence, the skipped glass of water, the unnoticed clash with medicine. By shifting these habits, seniors transform coffee from a risk into a ritual of mindful living. As the old saying goes, the wise do not seek to remove the stone from the path, but to step with care around it. Coffee need not be removed from life. It must only be approached with awareness, so the path ahead remains clear and steady. But here's the good news. Knowledge is power. By understanding these risks and making a few thoughtful adjustments, you can still savor your coffee while protecting your health. Because enjoying life doesn't mean giving up the things you love, it means enjoying them wisely. So stay with me as we explore these 10 hidden dangers and learn how to turn coffee from a silent enemy into a safe and enjoyable friend.